Committee meeting to order. Debbie, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Stowe,
Present.
Kate Fisher,
Present.
Carol Lindhuber,
Present.
Ken Marciniak,
Present.
Jeff Schaff,
Present.
And Tim is also present, isn't he?
oh, I'm sorry, yes, Tim, our zoning administrator, Tim Burns is also present. Thank you.
Okay. Call for approval of the minutes of the January 13th meeting. Is there
I'll
any
make a motion to
corrections?
approve.
I'll second.
All in favor by signifying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. First item on the agenda is building review application number 4-2021, requested by Stephanie Pilgrim for Space Bar located at 5687 Main Street, Sylvania. Is Stephanie here to make a presentation? Is anybody here from Space
Debbie,
Bar?
did you hear anything from Stephanie?
I did not.
She had been in contact with me many times prior to the meeting, but I can probably tell you what's going on with it.
Good.
This is the Space Bar in Uptown on Main Street. There are two entrances to this building, one on the front, one on the rear of the building. What they're looking at doing is replacing the doors with a newer commercial style door. Currently they have what would probably be more historic as a wood door, but as you know, the safety features that come with those are not quite the same as, you know, a heavy duty commercial door. There should be samples of the door that has been photoshopped for you, both a front view and a rear view of the building. And this would be the same doors that are used, for instance, at inside the 5, just around the corner. She actually contacted them to find out what doors they purchased to get the same ones.
So Tim, they are using a bronze aluminum door.
It appears like it's probably aluminum, bronze coated. Yes.
From the pictures, you couldn't tell. It looked to me like the only thing that was different was a logo on the door, printing on the door.
Yeah, actually what you see in the printing, that's actually a picture of a door, a different door that's photoshopped on. So that printing has nothing to do with this business.
Oh, okay. Does anybody else have any questions for Tim regarding this item? If not, I'm looking for a motion.
I have no objections to the bronze anodized aluminum doors.
Is anybody willing to make a motion on this?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item number 4 on the agenda is a building review application number 5-2021, requested by Christopher McCoy from AIA McCoy Architects for the Islamic Academy at 5225 Alexis Road. Is anyone here to speak to this project?
He must not be on either. I haven't seen him here. I've had many conversations with him, so I thought he would be present as well.
Okay.
If he's not here, I can speak to this one as well. This is a re-review. This was previously approved by the board about a year ago. Christopher, as the architect, went back to his client. I don't know whether they decided to just build bigger or had a bigger budget, but they're adding square footage, but not to the footprint of the building. The footprint stays the same. They had a few areas that were 2-story with nothing up above it that they added additional classrooms to. There
The
was
second floor.
There is one corner of the building that did project higher on the second story. I think that was kind of toward the front right-hand side of the building, so it'd be like the northwest corner. It didn't increase the footprint, it just went 2 stories versus a single story in that location. All materials, he committed all materials would be matching, as he did the first time, matching what's on the existing building, same color scheme, same block brick, same trim colors. There is one area that he also said that's up above, like or near the turret area, that there's a additional space in the design that they had to fill, that they have planned as EIFS or stucco, but matching colors with the trim.
But everything that we previously approved for the exterior of the building is the same as it was previously.
The design is slightly different, but the colors, everything that was approved previously, correct.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions for Tim on this project? Hearing none, is someone ready to make a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve application number 5-2021.
I'll second the motion. Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Application number 5 or item number 5 on the agenda, I need to recuse myself from any conversation on, but I will read the application. Is application 6-2021 requested by Mitchell Papin, excuse me, for MSP Properties of Ohio for 5549 Alexis Road, a Dollar General store. Mitchell, are you available to discuss this?
Yes, I'm here with my architectural designer, Rod Arter, as well.
Okay.
I'll give a quick narrative of the property and then I'm sorry.
Actually.
I'll have Rod jump in once I'm done.
So to the bottom of this curve, so let me mark that.
So I'm proposing a 9,100 square foot general building, again located at 5549 West Alexis Road. The property is zone B1, vacant property as it sits, and I believe you all have the rendering in front of you, if I'm correct. I would like Rod, again my architect, to go through the design and materials that I'm proposing. Go ahead, Rod. Unmute yourself, Rod.
I'm back. Sorry. Does everyone have that a copy of that rendering? You've seen the building before. Otherwise,
yes.
I could share it on my screen. Obviously, it's not your typical Dollar General. I think Mitchell has been committed to making this a really attractive building that would be in sort of a residential scale, and so we put our heads together and came up with a design that includes a couple of features that would tend to make it more residential and frankly a little more beautiful. And I know it's probably costs a little bit more to build this, but it has this central gable element, which is a little bit off the typical Dollar General aesthetic. And then the materials on this building would be, we're proposing that the foundation would be a CMU or a concrete masonry unit, a decorative block, split face block, with a masonry cap. And then the upper portion of the building would all be hardy plank. And hardy plank is a really beautiful, sturdy and durable material. It's, I think on the original application, it indicated vinyl siding. This is, hardy plank is not vinyl siding. It's a really, just a great product. I do a lot of architectural consulting with retail renovation, and this is really the industry standard that we're using now is hardy plank. It comes in pre-finished colors, and we're proposing this rendering, although it's done, I'm an old dog and I still do it with crayons and markers, not CAD, but it represents the two colors that are closest to the Dollar General brand, and that's khaki brown would be the darker color that's on the sides and the left and right of the front, and then cobblestone. And I think your package should also have in that PDF, I think it's page 4, it should have pictures of those colors.
These are the actual colors.
Correct. Oh, there you have the samples. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Meant to drop the samples off.
Nice. Okay, that's exactly it. And then white trim boards on the corners, around all the windows, and around the entry. We're proposing a bronze, and this is again typical Dollar General sort of aesthetic of these bronze fixed awnings. They're metal shed awnings with brackets that go back to the wall, and then on the side of on either side of the front and on the return side of the building, we're proposing spandrel glass, which would be a typical storefront framing system, but the glass, it's not vision glass that you can see through. It looks like windows from the outside, but on the inside, it would have store fixtures up against it. So it's kind of a typical condition that we use a lot of times to make sure that their store works properly. On the front of the building, we bumped out this gable a couple or 3 feet, again, just to sort of break down the scale of it. And then it would have signage in that upper gable. Those are proposed to be individual channel letters that are mounted on a raceway rather than the big flat, internally lighted sign. There's a more conventional Dollar General sign, a monument style that would be out at the street. I mean, it's within the setbacks and all that. The other feature that we're proposing in order to make this really the most attractive to the property is a lot of landscaping. We've taken I think it's about a 17-foot wide strip along the side of the building and proposing that would be densely planted. There are a couple of vertical pilasters that are on that side of the building. And so the landscaping would be designed to really complement that. And the same thing goes across the front and across the left side of the property, screening the parking lot. Be evergreen shrubs, probably not fully full density, but maybe more like a 70% coverage so that it creates a soft barrier there. I'm not saying it would be a headlight screen, but it would definitely increase the sort of the curb appeal. And then we have some other shade trees and things just to soften this a little bit. So I think that is that's pretty much the highlights of it. It's a pretty much standard size building. It's we just want to make sure that it's that it really adds to the value of the property. So, any questions about that?
I've got a couple questions for you.
Sure.
The windows are towards Alexis Road and on the west elevation. I'm assuming the east elevation does not have those spandrel glass windows expressed.
We only drawn it from the right-hand side so far. I would suggest that I think that side faces a driveway, and the back of I think it's a pet grooming business.
I'll answer this one, Ron.
Okay,
So
great.
We're putting a vinyl fence along that side. So
That was my next question. What kind of fence was that?
Yeah, vinyl, not wood. It'll be a vinyl fence along that side. I can put windows on that side, but I don't know if that'll make a difference with the
With
fence.
the vinyl fence there, I don't think that's necessary. Towards the road right of ways, I think it's appropriate.
Yep. And then the vinyl fence goes along the back as well.
Okay, I do have a question about the parking layout in the front. I agree with Rod's comment that he's got a lot of planting areas, but you've got a large expanse of asphalt in the front.
Yeah. The reason,
That's a circulation issue. I'm
yeah,
not
the
sure.
reason for that is since there are houses nearby, we didn't want to do deliveries during early morning hours or late at night. So we made that bigger so the truck can do deliveries during work hours and it won't run over any parking stalls or affect anybody shopping there.
So you have deliveries coming in the front door as well as the side door,
The
rear?
deliveries will be on the side. So the truck will come in and then back up. You see where like the dumpster pad is?
Yes, I do.
That'll be the loading area. So the truck will be parked there, do the loading through that back door, and then it'll just leave.
Okay, actually, I was referring to the large asphalt area in the front of the building towards Alexis Road.
Yeah, the 52.5 inches. Yeah, that is so that the truck has the room to make that back up.
So
he'll-
to kind of describe it, Mayor, because I've seen this on like a diagram, the truck would pull into that front parking lot first and then back down the, what I'll say is kind of like an alley driveway.
All right.
It goes back to the dumpster. So that was to give them enough room to make that turning radius.
And that is in a lot of stores. It's that driveway.
Are there any other questions for the applicant?
Yeah, I have a question. The landscaping that you show a lot of trees. Are those going to be hardwood deciduous trees or are those going to be pine trees?
I was planning on doing like red maples and yellow locust type trees. Near the pad will be arborvitaes, more of like a screening tree.
Right. Okay. Well, that's great. And I compliment you on the landscaping. Too often, I think a lot of pine trees are used and they have a shorter shelf life. I'm glad to see the hardwood trees.
Thanks. Yep.
And I think
Jim, any additional comments?
I was just going to say that the landscaping is, I've worked with Mitchell and his family for a number of years, and the kind of attention that they give to landscaping, a lot of times it's, it looks good in the rendering, and then you get out there and there's just a little, a dead bush. This helps everyone. It helps the city. It helps Dollar General and their image. And it really is, it's part of the curb appeal. And I think,
on the site plan approval review, we'll have the landscaping drawings in more detail.
Yeah, well, this, as I said, I think this really looks good. I was pleased to see it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments or concerns?
I appreciate the extra attention to the appearance of the building on the public sides. There's a lot of Dollar Generals I drive by, and this is going to be one of the nicer looking ones I see. So thank you.
It'll be a welcome addition to that stretch of Alexis Road.
Yep.
I'm ready for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve application number 6-2021.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Let the record show that I abstained from the vote, please. Motion carries.
Hey, Ken, we have Christopher McCoy that joined us. I don't know if the board wants to talk to him, or if not, we can probably let him know that passed, and he probably doesn't have to hang on here.
Hello, this is Chris McCoy. Deborah actually chatted
with me that I got approved. Thank you very much. And I apologize for being late. If you all know what's going on in Kentucky, we're enduring an ice storm right now. So I apologize. I had to move locations and that made me a little late coming in.
No problem. Tim stood in for you and did a terrific job.
Well, thank you, Tim, and everyone else.
Okay. I don't think that we need it unless you have something you want to specifically bring up. Tim explained it pretty well.
Not specifically. We're really very similar to the way we were before. It just got a little bit larger. That's all that happened. So since we got approved, I'm not going to rock the boat and say thank you very much to Tim. But I am here. I am here if you have any questions. I'm happy to help and happy to clarify if we need to clarify anything.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions for Chris? Okay, thank you, Chris. Appreciate it.
Thank
Are
you.
there any additions to the agenda for this evening on the Architectural Control
We
Review
should have,
Board?
we
You
should have,
should have received another application by email
Okay.
and an updated agenda.
Right. All right. Oh, there it is. All right. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong one. Application number 7-2021 requested by Brianne Dander for true aerial signs for Stella Salon and Spa Boutique at 4900 McCord. Is Brianna available?
Yes, sir.
Do you have anything you want to discuss or add to this application?
No, not at this time. You should have all of the details.
I have a question. Is this going into the where the carryout was located?
I believe that is next to the carryout.
Next to the carryout. Okay. So the
Correct.
carryout place. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what was there, but I know that the carryout is still there. Last time I
Still
wasn't.
there. Okay. Does anyone else have any questions or comments? If this, you're good to go with this?
yeah, I have no objections. Sign meets the sign code.
I'm looking for a motion on item number 7-2021.
A motion to approve application number 7-2021.
Second.
All in favor by signifying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Now we're ready for any additional items. Sorry about that. Having heard no.
I have no additional items.
Okay, looking for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
I'll second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Okay. Meeting is closed. Let's move now to the Sylvania zoning. Debbie, could you call the roll, please?
Before we do that, let's let the other gentleman go ahead and sign off. Thank you for your attendance. We're moving into a plan commission meeting now.
Thank you.
I'm leaving.
Have a good evening. Be safe and ice.
Thanks. Bye.
We should still have Ken and
Carol are on the phone still.
yeah, we do. They're on phones. Yep, we do still have them.
Yeah, I'm here. Debbie, do you want to call the roll, please?
Mayor Stowe,
Present.
Kate Fisher,
Here.
Carol Lindhuber,
Here.
Ken Marciniak,
Here.
Jeff Schaff,
Here.
And our zoning administrator, Tim Burns, is also present.
Thank you. Approval of the minutes of the January 13th meeting or any modifications?
I'll move to approve
I'll
those
make-
minutes.
Second.
Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries. First and only item on the agenda is a council referral for proposed ordinance number 12-2021, amending Charter 1157 for off-street parking for Sylvania's codified ordinances, dated 1979, as amended by additional section 1157 for bicycle parking. Is there someone from the city or from council that wants to go over this and explain it a little bit more? I'm a little confused by
And
where this.
I am probably the best person to present this.
Perfect.
First off,
You've
the
had the floor.
Plan Commission should be aware that City Council is getting close to approving its new downtown master plan. And during those discussions, bicycle parking has been brought up by some members of City Council. They charge the administration and the law director to go and find what precedents exist for requiring business property owners to provide parking for bicycles the same way that we do for automobiles. She went and got several of them, and she used for this what she found from the city of Cleveland, is my understanding. And if you go to the last piece of paper that was in your packets, that would be the revised or the new section or the revised section for off-street parking. And it would include this 1157, which is bicycle parking. If you read down through that, you go to item C, number of bicycle parking spaces. It would require one bicycle parking space for every 20 automobile spaces. And those bicycle parking spaces would be 2 feet wide by 6 feet long. It gives them some options in how to lock the bicycles. All of that makes sense to me. They're really talking about a downtown area, but this would apply to all non-residential properties that provide parking in the city limits. I'm a property owner myself. Kate, you administer a building in your bank building as well. This would not be a difficult thing to provide because it doesn't take much space to do this. However, I want you to consider as a commission whether you agree with item B, which is time of compliance. And I'll read it to you. It says, for applicable parking lots that were approved prior to the initial effective date of this section, required bicycle parking spaces shall be provided no later than 2 years after the initial effective date of this section. Other applicable parking lots and garages, required parking spaces shall be provided prior to site plan approval. I think I have no problem with requiring it for new site plan approvals as they come in. In fact, our service department has been doing that already for several years. It makes sense to me. But as the city's administrator, I am somewhat reluctant to start sending out letters and enforcing that every property owner in town has got to put in these bike parking spaces within 2 years and explain to some of them why they need them at all. I think that's perhaps being a little too intrusive. As a legislator, I can understand it, but on the administrative side of the rule, I welcome your input, whether it's appropriate for us to go back and be retroactive like this.
Are there
Um,
existing
my-
bike parking spaces in downtown?
There are. In fact, the city has installed some bike parking racks in the right of way. I don't think bike parking is an issue in the downtown because most of the buildings do not have their own parking lots.
Right.
City provides them in public areas, whether along the street or in the parking lots. But I hate to be going back away from the downtown and dictating to people that they have to do them. Perhaps many of the property owners would not object. Sodders might put them in. The drugstores might put them in if they don't already. But there's a lot of businesses that probably don't have much bicycle traffic coming in. If it's good for business, they'll put them in.
Right.
But to dictate to somebody that they have to put them in bothers me a bit. Kate, at your bank, you may choose to put them in. You already may have. I don't know.
I don't have any, but I do have cyclists that come to the location, but we have so much ground and so much area that I don't feel there would be a problem or a need for me to install anything additional to what we already have. It would just cost.
You're a business and you welcome people to get there however they come and they have space to do it. The same would be true of my architectural practice building.
Right.
But I can imagine some buildings that they might not welcome it or have any customers that show up on bikes.
Mayor, I might be speaking out and you guys can tell me I'm not part of this board. I'm just sitting listening, but from a zoning side, and I see what you're saying, because if the businesses, if there's bicycle traffic driving it, they'll put them in because it'll bring their customers to them. My thought is a little bit like, has there been any thought to this being more guided toward like retail type businesses versus, let's say for instance, because we're talking about all commercial businesses, if there's an automotive shop that works on cars, chances are you're not riding your bicycle there to drop off your car. You know,
or certainly a car wash.
Yeah, right. So I don't know if, you know, if it could be maybe, I mean, certainly the retail spots, I think the grocery stores, I would see them wanting to jump on this. I mean, I would think that we wouldn't have to even do it, but that was just kind of a thought, if it could be maybe kind of steered toward retail where that traffic might be a little bit heavier.
That's a good thought. I have another recommendation for your contemplation, and that's to change this sentence that where it says they shall be provided no later than 2 years. We could change that to say required bicycle spaces shall be encouraged. And then for every project going forward, the service department can work with that applicant and build them into their site plan initially. Like the new Dollar General, it should be part of their site plan. And we've been doing that for several. But for me to back up on companies that have had buildings here for 10, 20 or more years and say, you got to find space for this is pretty overbearing to me.
Right.
I would agree with that. I think it should be going forward, and it, you know, it should be encouraged going back, but not required.
And let me ask, for example, my question is, would the downtown building owners, the downtown being the core downtown, meaning from Monroe Street north to Maplewood, and where you've got, for example, Brushkey's Bakery, they would not be required because they don't have a parking lot, correct?
That's right. In the downtown zoning, the downtown B4 zoning, they're not required to provide any off-street parking. So this will not apply to them.
That's so it applies if you have a parking lot.
So the library would be included, or Sodders, or St. Joe's.
Right.
And for instance, the library did provide them as a part of their reconstruction. They're right along Monroe Street. They did a nice job of them. I think Sodders might have a bike rack off to the side there. I'm not sure.
I think they do.
But if it makes sense for business, they're going to do it.
Yeah. And maybe there's an opportunity, like in downtown Toledo, the Arts Commission partnered with certain businesses in the area that when it was time, they had artists who were creating decorative bike racks. And maybe that's an opportunity for the downtown Sylvania or the Sylvania Arts Commission to come in and say, okay, we passed this ordinance. In the next 2 years, you'd be encouraged. Maybe there's an opportunity to put some decorative something throughout those businesses that maybe don't have a ton of space but want to try and participate. I like the encourage portion of it.
Yeah, definitely.
The city has added bike rack space at its front doors because people were coming to the city on bikes.
Right.
I like the word encouraged. And if you put it in there going forward for new site plans,
Yes.
this gives the
Yeah.
service director the
Yep.
chance to negotiate it and get it into the site plans where it makes sense going forward.
Right.
Correct.
Right.
Anybody that's there today is exempt from it.
I'd still like the language to say that we're encouraging it, but we're not going to send Tim out to start writing them out if they don't do it in 2 years. That would be job security for Tim, but I don't think he'd enjoy that job.
I still have trash cans to take care of. That keeps me pretty busy.
Okay. How about sidewalk?
My wife,
Yes, right.
my wife lets it know whenever it needs be. Okay, does anybody want to tackle this and come up with a recommendation to city council? I concur with the mayor in his language to item C, that it's encouraged.
It would be item B. Item
B,
He is in boy.
Excuse me, Ken, we also have someone who would like to speak, Keith Webb.
Okay. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
Yes, hi, my name is Keith Webb, and my home address is 6906 Shooters Hill. I represent an organization called We Are Traffic. I actually designed the horsehead bike racks that you have downtown, working with Kevin Aller. We've been working with the city very successfully in increasing bike parking downtown and in other areas. And so I'm very happy to see this being presented tonight. I did send a few comments to Kevin Aller. And I don't know if it's appropriate for me to share that with you now. Is that okay?
Sure, I think so.
Okay,
Please go ahead.
Yeah, give me one moment here. I'll share my screen. And let's see.
Well,
here.
that won't be necessary because none of us can see it.
Okay, I'll just talk through it. So I would like to, there was a previous comment about how some businesses, while we want to have bike parking where it's needed, we recognize that it's not needed everywhere. And one of the ways you can, without getting a kind of a lengthy code like the City of Toledo has, City of Toledo, they've codified their bike parking, but it specifies for each type of businesses exactly how many racks are required per whatever unit they're using. There is a way around that, and that is to provide kind of an exclusion by the commissioner. So if the person who is presenting their site plan, if they can demonstrate that bike parking is really not applicable, the commissioner has the ability to waive the requirement or to modify the requirement. And that gives flexibility so that, for example, a gas station without a convenience store, you don't really need a bike rack. If it's got a convenience store, it should have a bike rack. So, those types of conditions you can capture by providing that as, kind of a modification, that you can make depending on the specifics of the applicant. So that's an idea there. For section C, where it talks about one parking, it says one bike parking space per 20, and it has a maximum of 24. We would like the minimum to actually be 2, because every bike rack provides for 2 bikes. And so we would like that to be increased to 2. For the bike parking space, it denotes a 2-foot by 6-foot. We're suggesting that when you have bike racks, for example, the on-street bike parking that the city installed, I guess it's been 2 years ago or a year and a half ago. When bike racks are installed side by side, you don't really need 4 feet of space to get 2 bikes in there. So we're suggesting you can reduce that down to 3 feet or 36 inches. I know I'm just talking through these right now, and I can provide a copy of this email that I sent to Kevin, as well as Leslie Brenning and Katie Capolini and Doug Hanum. And then the last part talks about the bike parking space location. And we'd like to add that the bike racks be installed to provide their intended capacity and not to encroach upon ADA access areas. And I provided a photo to Kevin of the Burger King that's right at the end of the River Trail Phase 2, where they had installed a couple of bike racks right on the sidewalk. And so, basically, if you park a bike, first of all, they won't allow for their intended capacity by the way they're installed. And also, if you park a bike there, your bike will be in the sidewalk. So that would basically not provide ADA compliance. And so we'd like to, provide guidance that would say, make sure when you do install them, you're getting the intended capacity of the rack, and that you're not encroaching upon any ADA access areas. And then lastly, there's a section in section G that talks about bollards or providing some type of protection for the racks. We'd like to add an additional type of protection, and that's grade separation. If the bike racks are installed up on the curb, then grade separation is another type of barrier that should be applicable in that case. I know that was a lot, but those were just a few suggestions that we recommended that we think are not, detrimental to what has already been provided. That it actually, we think it improves it, and we appreciate your consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Webb.
I think,
yeah,
I think your insertions, your recommendations merit some discussion. Mayor, my question is, do we have to make a recommendation on this tonight? I think with what he's brought to light in your comments, this should be modified. This article, ordinance 1157.16 should reflect the changes. And Tim, have you and Kevin discussed these recommendations by this gentleman?
Kevin and I have not, no.
Okay.
I think, Ken, it is appropriate to ask that the service director revisit this, and we put it on the agenda for next month for further consideration. I think the law director prepared this perhaps more than the service director based on the Cleveland ordinance. So I think these have all been good comments. My comment, I think, can be incorporated as well as some of the other ideas from Mr. Webb. And let's think about it. Think about what, if we're comfortable with the not requiring it on existing sites, but encouraging it.
Can Debbie or Tim, can you relate these comments to Kevin, and maybe we can get this ordinance submitted to us as soon as it's physically possible, so we can review it and absorb it and make sure that we're comfortable with it? Or how do we get this to Kevin?
It's appropriate for Tim to take it back, but I assure you that I'll be discussing it as a part of my meeting with Mr. Aller as well, and with the law director.
Would it be okay if I provided a copy of my email to Deborah for distribution to you?
Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, that would be
Okay,
great.
I'll forward it to Deborah then. Thank you, Ms. Webb.
Great. Perfect. I make a motion that we.
What's that, Mayor?
You have the same last name. I assume there's no family relationship there?
Not that we've explored, no.
Mayor Stout, I'm not sure if what we're saying is that there'll be a discussion with Kevin and perhaps changes to the ordinance to come, a revision to the ordinance presented to the Plan Commission, or would this go back to council?
No, I think we need to have some proposed changes written by the service director and the law director, and then this commission can vote to send those recommendations back to city council.
Okay.
I don't think city council is needing this right away. This is our job to try and develop these sort of things and recommend what we think is appropriate to city council.
So I think we need to table the item for now and bring it up next month.
I agree.
Correct?
Yep,
okay.
I agree.
What if I could make one last comment?
Sure.
We would love it. You know, May is National Bike Month. And so it would be fantastic if this, could make its way through and be something that we could highlight as part of our Bike Month activity come this May, if that's possible. Thank you.
Well, I think if we hear this next month in April, when city council, when would city council vote on this?
Back at our March meeting here.
We'll have a March meeting.
Yeah, correct.
However,
I'm sorry.
it may be necessary for city council to schedule a public hearing. This is a change to the zoning code. And there may be a 30-day waiting period of public notice. So we might make May, or the public hearing might be in May. I'm not sure.
Actually, that would be ideal to have the public meeting in May.
Okay.
Thank you for the consideration. Appreciate it.
Timing should work on this then.
Great, thank you.
I'm looking for a motion to table this item until next month.
We'll make a motion to table the item until the next meeting.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Are there any other additions to the agenda? Hearing no additions to the agenda, I look for a motion to close the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. This meeting is adjourned.